Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney just declared the U.S. Canada relationship officially over. Not paused, not rocky, done. After 150 years of shared wars, trade pacts, and auto sector growth, this split, fueled by President Trump's tariffs, is shaking the very frame of North American car production. With counter-tariffs revving up, the impact on EVs, supply chains, and cross-border assembly lines is immediate and severe. What happens when the tightest automotive alliance in the world hits the brakes? Buckle up. We're breaking down the 5 biggest shockwaves hitting the industry. Shift number 5, revving up the risk. Job cuts hit the assembly line first. The first warning lights are flashing where it hurts most, on the factory floor. Automakers like Stellantis are already pulling the handbrake, furloughing nearly 900 workers across plants in both Canada and the US, all thanks to rising costs triggered by new tariffs. But this isn't just a speed bump. It's the unraveling of a co-built manufacturing model that dates back to 1965's Auto Pact. For decades, parts have zipped across the border like clockwork. Canadian steel, American tech, shared platforms. Now, that finely tuned system is backfiring. Cross-border logistics are getting pricier. Companies are freezing hiring, delaying EV-focused upgrades, or outright shifting their operations overseas to more stable markets like Europe and Asia. And let's be real, EVs thrive on certainty. Battery production, factory transitions, and charging infrastructure are long-haul investments. This trade war injects chaos into a system that needs calm. And guess who's loving it? China, where state-backed EV programs and consistent policy are setting the pace for global dominance. And if job cuts weren't enough of a jolt, just wait until you see what's happening to consumer prices. Shift number 4, sticker shock incoming. Get ready for pricier EVs and repairs. If you thought inflation was annoying, try buying a new EV in this tariff climate. Thanks to a new 25% levy on imported vehicles and components, the average price tag for an imported car is set to jump by a jaw-dropping $8,000 to $12,500. And that pain extends beyond new car buyers. Need a replacement battery? Expect a steeper bill. How about a basic part for your EV's charging setup or drivetrain? That's getting hit too, especially if it's coming from Canada or any other now tariffed source. Batteries, which make up 30% to 40% of an EV's cost, rely on minerals like lithium and potash, resources Canada has in spades. But with those resources now under tariff pressure, even domestic brands like Tesla and Ford are struggling to keep margins tight. And don't think US-based production is safe. Tesla still sources 30 to 40% of its components from abroad. From aluminum to wiring harnesses, every imported element just got pricier. Even Elon Musk's dream of a zero-tariff zone between Europe and North America is looking more like vaporware than a viable roadmap. Dealerships are scrambling too. Some are hiking prices to stay afloat, while others are pulling inventory until the dust settles. The result? Confused buyers, tighter wallets, and an EV adoption curve that's starting to stall. And while buyers brace for impact, EV manufacturers are facing their own storm under the hood. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer into shift number 3, shock to the system. EV makers slam the brakes. Electric vehicles were supposed to be the phoenix rising from the ashes of North America's aging auto plants. But this tariff-fueled showdown is threatening to turn that comeback story into a cautionary tale. Whether it's legacy giants like Ford and GM, or fresh contenders like Lucid and Rivian, all of them lean heavily on global supply chains. Batteries, semiconductors, aluminum panels, and software, they're all sourced internationally. Now, with tariffs hitting nearly every link in that chain, per-vehicle costs are rising by $4,000 to $6,000. Some automakers are already taking defensive action. Ford has paused investment in EV infrastructure in both Ontario and Michigan. Rivian shelved plans for a second factory citing policy volatility. Translation? They're not betting billions on EV lines when the rules of the game could change overnight. This opens the throttle for global rivals. Chinese EV brands like BYD and NIO are already producing competitively priced vehicles, and now they're positioned to undercut North American models even further. Meanwhile, buyers are getting spooked. Between long wait lists, rising sticker prices, and murky incentive programs, enthusiasm is waning. And at a time when EV adoption is just gaining traction, that hesitation could be a serious stall-out. But as production slows and confidence drops, an even deeper shift is happening, right at the heart of U.S. Canada relations. Shift number 2. Turning point, a historic break between the U.S. and Canada. It's not just a press statement, it's a full-blown declaration. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney didn't mince words when he told the world, the old relationship with the United States is over. This isn't just diplomatic tension, it's a geopolitical fault line, and the automotive industry is sitting right on top of it. For over 6 decades, North America thrived thanks to a deep integration between U.S. and Canadian industries. From Detroit to Ontario, car production flowed freely across borders, evolving from traditional internal combustion to next-gen EV platforms. But now, with President Trump slapping tariffs and taking rhetorical jabs at turning Canada into the 51st state, that alliance is off the rails. Carney is fighting back, imposing retaliatory tariffs, exploring economic deals with Europe and Australia, and signaling a future where Canada moves forward without leaning on its southern neighbor. This isn't just a policy pivot, it's a total reshuffle of the auto industry's foundation. Everything from shared supply chains to collaborative battery R&D projects is now in jeopardy. And if Canada builds a like-minded coalition that excludes the US, expect a new world trade map and a fresh set of winners and losers in the EV game. And just when you think the U.S.-Canada split is the headline, the entire globe is getting pulled into the trade war vortex. Shift number 1. Ripple effect. A trade war that could reshape auto manufacturing globally. What began as a tariff feud between neighbors is now spiraling into a worldwide showdown. President Trump's sweeping 10% tariff on all imports, and an even more punishing 25% on foreign-made vehicles, has thrown the global market into chaos. China hit back with a 34% tariff. Europe is prepping a 20% response. Over 185 countries are now affected by these escalating tensions. This isn't just about numbers, it's about trust, stability, and long-term investment. Automakers are pausing exports. Jaguar Land Rover is pulling back from the U.S. market. German firms are now questioning whether to keep North America in their production pipelines at all. As Canada quietly inks new deals with France, Germany, and Mexico, the old trade routes are being redrawn. Elon Musk's zero-tariff dream zone? It's heading for the scrapyard. So what happens next? EV manufacturers are in a tough spot. Do they move production overseas? Re-engineer their supply chains? Put the brakes on entirely? One thing's clear, volatility is the new normal, and speed will separate the survivors from the stalled out. Final gear shift. Could this split derail the North American auto industry? This isn't just a messy breakup. It's a foundational shakeup that could fracture North American dominance in automotive innovation. With rising costs, paused production, and new geopolitical alliances forming fast, the global EV race could leave North America spinning its wheels. China is moving quickly, Europe is building momentum. And unless the US and Canada find common ground again, the era of their auto supremacy may be parked for good. But what do you think? Could this be the true end of North America's reign in auto manufacturing? Will EV makers successfully pivot in time or lose ground to foreign competitors? Do you think Canada can thrive without US partnership in this high-stakes industry? Is Elon Musk's idea of a global zero-tariff EV ecosystem still possible? And finally, are these trade wars accelerating progress or just stalling innovation? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share your take with the Piston Pundit community. Don't forget to subscribe to Piston Pundit. Hit that bell so you never miss a beat when it comes to vehicle updates, EV revolutions, and industry shakeups. Thanks for watching, and keep your engines running. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.